This video is going to be a film study look at how Jared Goff was able to throw the football successfully against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 18, with an eye towards the wild card matchup against the Rams on Saturday. What I wanted to do was point out, number one, how sharply I thought Jared Goff threw the ball. As we heard so much prior to the first meeting between the Lions and the Vikings in Week 16, 3 weeks ago, Goff had a lot of difficulty historically against Brian Flores defenses. That certainly was not the case in 2023. Over the course of the two games, Goff was 53 of 72 passing against the Vikings, or almost 74% completion percentage, 577 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. As an aside, he was only sacked twice in those 2 wins, and in fact has only been sacked 5 times in the last 4 weeks. If the offensive line for Detroit can provide that type of protection for Goff against the Rams, he'll be put in position to succeed. Additionally, I wanted to make a comment on something that Goff said in the media that I thought was pretty indicative of the focus that he appears to have, at least from my position, far on the outside. When asked about him matching up against the Rams and Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit, he apparently said something like, "This is about our team. It would be selfish of me to make it about anything else. This is so much greater than anything about my story in LA with the Rams or Matthew here in Detroit." And I thought that was a really cool way to not only display his focus, but deflect in that interview any further questions, which I'm sure he's going to get anyway, but also to show respect for the Rams, Matthew Stafford, and his time in Detroit, and try to allow fans or show fans a pathway to be respectful towards Stafford, but still root for your own team, or vice versa. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at some of his throws from Week 18 against the Vikings, because I think he did a lot of the things that he does well anyway. Make quick decisions, throw the football, but I thought it was more so 2 throws moving out of the pocket that were somewhat anomalous, because those are things that have been an issue for him in Detroit at times. And then also deep passes down the left sideline. I don't know if that was a game plan thing. I suspect it was against the Vikings, or if that's just a hot spot area that Ben Johnson and Goff are hitting now in practice or focusing on. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure that those things will be there against the Rams. I'll try to have some previews out on those, but I want to talk about 2 throws in particular. A 4th and 1 to Donovan Peoples-Jones in the third quarter. I think the Lions' first possession of the third quarter. And then a 2nd and 13 to James Mitchell early in the fourth quarter when the Lions stretched the lead to 30-20. So let's get to some of the film. I like to let these loop through. I'm not sure if that's a positive thing or a negative thing in terms of the NFL copyright claims. But this is second possession, and this is 12 personnel. So this is before Sam Laporta has gotten hurt. It's actually a jumbo 12 personnel. You can see that Skipper is on the field up to the top. And then that's Laporta, who motions in down from the bottom. St. Brown is the outside receiver, the number 1 receiver to the sideline up to the top. This one ends up being 34 yards up the left sideline. They definitely saw something in the Vikings coverage. My suspicion is it was related to these situations where the Vikings are playing risky but very hard-headed and tough fronts. And what I mean is, against this jumbo 12 stuff, 4 down interior linemen, 2 outside linebackers, Hunter, and I think it's 51 up to the top of the screen, and then only 1 inside linebacker, so a 7-man front. Additionally, you've got a corner down here to the wide side of the field, and Harrison Smith, that I would call a strong safety, to the boundary. So you've really got 9 guys really close to the line of scrimmage. It's not surprising that Goff prepares the rest of his team for something. Maybe he's checking into a play, maybe he's not. Maybe this was the originally called play. Skipper slides out into the flats just to occupy this corner enough, or strong safety enough, excuse me. And then Goff gets the ball over the top of that level of the defense, and it is, in fact, 22 who comes back to make the tackle. That left side was a hot spot for them in this game. Third possession, same formation. You can see there's Mitchell and Laporta. And this is going to be a first down, barely run up the middle by Jahmyr Gibbs for 1 yard. I think it's Pace who's there. Late, more traditional look from how many defensive linemen there were. Great job by Mitchell of getting to Hunter with a combo, late combo, and then Pace makes the tackle, and the Lions are just barely able to get that first down. That measurement was super close. I thought it was like a credit card short. This next one is an interesting throw and an interesting strategy because it's a very next play. After that 4th and 1 conversion, Goff goes up top left side to Khalif Raymond for 41 yards. It's a 5-1 nickel look in the box. However, when you actually do the count on the number of players that are on the field for the Vikings, you see there's only 10 on the field. There's your 3 interior linemen, 1 outside linebacker, 44, who I think positionally is actually listed as an inside linebacker, 1 edge defender there. There's your 5, 1, and you can see that you've got a corner, strong safety to the boundary again, and your free safety in the middle of the field. Unless I counted wrong, looks like 10 players to me. Haven't heard anybody mention it yet. I'm guessing that, Detroit media people have. But the larger point for me is that Goff and Ben Johnson were targeting that deep left sideline for whatever reason multiple times throughout the day. Really clean throw, clean pocket. Look, like I said in the lead-in, man, if Goff gets that type of protection where the Rams can really only generate 1 sack opportunity over the course of 4 quarters, it's going to be very difficult for them to hold this Lions offense down. We're fast forwarding here, 3rd quarter. It's 12 personnel. Obviously, Laporta is out, so it's jumbo 12. And Skipper has reported as eligible. Vikings walk up another edge defender, and Goff identifies it quick, able to get the ball out to St. Brown from the slot position. So another 6-1 look with 1 inside linebacker remaining. You actually do have 11 players on the field here for the Vikings. Goff has already identified the open space. Some real difficulty matching up in coverage for the Vikings. I thought that the first game in Minnesota, the Lions really had control of their defense other than 2 possessions in the 4th quarter. I really felt like the Vikings were searching for answers defensively on Sunday and just were not able to find them. Same possession. This is 2 plays later. This is going to be Donovan Peoples-Jones from the X position down at the bottom of the screen. Again, this is 3rd quarter. First possession of the second half for the Lions, and Goff finds Donovan Peoples-Jones for 5 yards, takes a huge hit. I think I'll give you the end zone angle of this one. Goff, to me, was really prepared for their coverages. There was a stretch this year, 3-4 games in a row, maybe 5, after the Chargers game where Goff was seen double pumping many times. What I mean by that is looking to his primary read, perhaps getting ready to throw, and then holding the ball for a moment because he didn't like what he saw as he was getting ready to release. I haven't seen those happen in the last 3 weeks. Even the Cowboys game, I think I remember 1. He seems to be making decisions more abruptly, seems to be more decisive, let's put it that way, and more clear in the coverages that he thinks he's going to get pre-snap versus what he does get post-snap. This is possibly the play of the game for me, outside of his 70-yard touchdown to St. Brown that I'll show you here in a moment. 4th and 1, first possession of the 3rd quarter, like I said. It's after that 5-yard completion to Donovan Peoples-Jones that I just showed you. 11 personnel, play action, and he shows so much patience coming back all the way across here to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Really clutch, if you ask me. You got the play action. Everybody up here obviously is thinking run because it's a 4th and 1. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones runs across the field. He actually has to dodge or wait on Reynolds to clear before he brings his route between the bottom of the numbers and the sideline. I was hoping that he got his 3rd foot in bounds here. I mean, after he catches the ball, he definitely got 2 feet in bounds. I was just hoping that he made a better effort to get the 3rd foot in bounds because I would have hated to see that be ruled incomplete. I don't suspect that it was, but in this day and age with the NFL, no one knows what a catch is. Nothing would surprise me. End zone angle, same play. You can see the nature of the Vikings defense being drawn up by the play action on 4th and 1. Peoples-Jones waiting for it all to clear. Look at the open window, open space that Goff has here. This is more of a designed rollout than I thought, live speed. Just a strike of a throw downhill. He really got on top of that one, if you ask me. Moving forward to the first play of the fourth quarter, the Vikings have closed to 20-13. It's a 2nd and 5 now. Skipper has reported eligible again, so jumbo 12 personnel. This time St. Brown in the number 1 position outside, very similar to that first play that I showed you, running up the sideline. And you have what I would call a sail concept between Reynolds and St. Brown. Different people have different terminology depending on their background and what offensive or defensive system they use as a platform to designate things. Once Reynolds motions across and they bring a defender with them, you would suspect that it's man. But watch the routes that you get from Reynolds and St. Brown. They zone this off, so the guy who followed Reynolds zones off. St. Brown brings his route to the sideline, and then Reynolds is going to take his, like a deeper sail concept. Some people call it flood, whatever you want to call it. There's a high-low with Reynolds and Gibbs. There's a high-low on that defender, meaning a route deeper than him, and then also a route in front of him. And then additionally, you've got what often ends up just being a clear-out route to a guy like St. Brown. In this case, Goff has already gotten rid of it because he's wide open. He wanted to make sure that he didn't overthrow it. St. Brown showing the ability to run after the catch and convert it for a 70-yard touchdown. Ends up with 1,500 yards receiving on the year. I can't remember how many touchdowns. It's a crap ton. Amazing season. I did a video on St. Brown saying, how he was the biggest Pro Bowl snub, if you ask me. There's certainly some other really good ones. Derek Stingley would be a guy that would come to mind for me. End zone angle, same play. You can see how wide open he was. If Goff is able to get this kind of time and deliver these types of throws, whether Sam Laporta plays or not, I think there's plays to be made there against that Rams defense. They came to Baltimore and they gave the Ravens a difficult time with their offense, but defensively, their ability to cover was really shredded. So moving forward here, about 5 minutes forward in gameplay, 10.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's now 27-20. 2nd and 13 after a penalty. If the throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones wasn't the play of the game on a 4th and 1, then this one is. 2nd and 13, huge moment. Goff is scrambling out to his left. He's flushed out by pressure. And a great job by Gibbs. I thought Daryl Johnston covered it extremely well. It makes sense that Daryl Johnston would cover it well because he's a former fullback. Gibbs gets a big piece of that guy to slow him up. Goff rolls out to his left. You can see James Mitchell is open, past the line to gain. Give you the end zone angle so you can see. You can get a better idea of how great I think this catch was. This leads to a field goal. It's a 24-yard gain. Hopefully I give you the end zone angle. Yeah, here it is. This leads to a field goal that makes it 30-20 with a little over 8 minutes left in the game. Would have loved to have seen the Lions get a touchdown here so they could get some key performers off the field. But this is brilliant stuff from Goff, who's not known as a scrambler, rightfully so. He shouldn't be and never will be. But this is an instance of him moving to his left, throwing back to his right. Mitchell is wide open, but it's a beautiful catch, beautiful play. Hopefully he doesn't need too many of these against the Rams. Hopefully the Lions' run game is able to get going and then utilize the play-action passing game. Don't get in too many 2nd and 13s in the first place. But I thought this was a great throw. I thought it showed his composure. Again, I just haven't seen too many double pumps. I haven't seen too many times where he seemed to be, I don't want to say confused by the coverage, but unsure of what he was getting post-snap, such that his first read or second read, he's about to throw and then realized it would be a bad idea to do so. Nobody's open here. This is obviously the sack by Danielle Hunter, who's had an unbelievable season. Here's the field goal. Look, I'll have more film over the next couple of days. Let me know the elements of the game that you'd like for me to preview, that you'd like for me to kind of focus on. I will show significant film of the Rams offense. I really respect it and enjoy watching it, to be honest with you. I thought that the Rams' 11 personnel run game was a bad matchup for the Ravens defense, meaning the Ravens' relative weakness, and I feel like I can be honest about this, the Ravens' relative weakness is stopping the run out of our nickel defense against 11 personnel, particularly compressed formations. To a certain extent, the Steelers did the same thing on Saturday night. The only difference is the Steelers were in 12 personnel and 13 personnel oftentimes to do it. Compressed formations, for whatever reason, have given Mike Macdonald's defense more trouble against the run, not against the pass. Mike Macdonald enjoys, or relies on, I should say, a too high safety alignment, hiding or obscuring the coverage for the quarterback until after the ball is snapped. So there's more processing done post-snap by the quarterback. The Rams kind of reverse the question, compressed formations, 11 personnel, and basically if you looked at numbers in the box, the Rams just basically outnumbered us. It's a little bit more detailed than that. That's a simplistic observation. I'm not sure that that's the relative weakness of the Lions defense. It almost goes the other way. The Lions' weakness defensively is giving up big plays to receivers. The Rams have talent there, and Matthew Stafford is an accurate quarterback with, all the guts and guile to make big throws. But in terms of establishing a run game consistently and then utilizing play action or boot concepts off of that, I'm not sure that the same dynamic exists with the Lions defense going up against the Rams 11 personnel offense. So that'll be the primary preview that I try to do. Maybe I could get that out Tuesday night or Wednesday night. You guys will have to let me know if you would like to see that or if you'd like to see me preview a different element of the game. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you thought of Jared Goff's play in Week 18 and what you thought of the plays I picked to break down and try to illustrate how well I thought he played in the Lions' 12th win of the season, their second one over the Vikings. Appreciate you guys' time.